In 1994, the 167th episode of The Next Generation aired, titled Lower Decks. The episode was written by veteran Trek writer Renee Echeverria and is one of the more compelling episodes in the final season of TNG. In the episode, 4 junior officers vying for various promotions at their given roles are involved in a top-secret mission.
I want to make it clear that you are not to discuss what you see here with anyone. I understand.
The episode, rare for the series, focuses on unknown crew members rather than the central cast of characters. Despite the spotlight centered on guest characters, the show is one of the more emotional and engaging episodes of The Next Generation. When it comes to Trek lore, we have always focused on the relationships between arguably the most important characters on the cast. What was Bones and Kirk's relationship like, or even Beverly and Picard? We really never thought about the other people on these massive yacht-like spaceships. Well, Lower Decks provides a valued, deep insight and in 40 minutes makes us fall in love with characters we really don't know. It's fascinating, but it really comes down to the high quality writing.
As far as I'm concerned, you should have been expelled for what you did. Quite frankly, I don't know how you made it on board this ship.
The characters are written with identifiable motives. They want to get promoted. They're all working hard. Like most of us, we usually see from the bottom up. Rarely do we see from the top down. If you were a cocky ensign, like Lavelle, how would you see someone successful, like you, such as Commander Riker? These concepts are all easy to understand and really help us to establish characters we have never seen before.
Promote me, please, so I can make lieutenant.
This, of course, makes for a painful finale and one of the more emotional moments in The Next Generation. I'll save this for those who haven't seen the episode. That being said, there's so many cool little things going on, like when all the officers are gossiping about each other.
He had to do a double shift.
That's too bad. He must be the worst poker player I've ever met.
I've been meaning to talk to you about something, Mr. Worf.
Whoever was in it straight to sickbay. Did you see anything when you were down there?
Went 10 forward with another woman, and the way they were talking, it made me wonder.
But if he's seeing someone else, he should tell Alyssa.
This is a simple human concept, but the neat thing is that when all of it is boiled down, each character reflects on their own actions, rather than implying the actions of someone else.
I guess it's lucky that they realized that you were young and inexperienced and decided not to hold it against you.
Maybe I have been a little hard on Lavelle.
Maybe you shouldn't try so hard with Riker. It doesn't matter whether he likes you, as long as he respects you.
He must, otherwise he would not be considering you for the ops position.
You're probably right.
They realize they need to grow in that moment, rather than the other character.
Maybe I'm just telling myself that he hates me so that if I don't get promoted, I'll have an excuse.
Such as Geordi.
Well, I'm headed for engineering to run those tests on the nacelles. Since you've already put in some work on the technique, thought you might like to give me a hand.
Or even Riker, when he made the realization he was being too difficult. Perhaps my favorite scene in the entire episode is when Ensign Cito stands up to Worf.
It's not a fair test.
Very good, Ensign. You had passed the challenge.
And he delivers a rousing line that is to absolute perfection.
But perhaps next time you are judged unfairly, it will not take so many bruises for you to protest.
I'd really like to think an episode like this is reasons why we received further plot development from characters like Chief O'Brien. We had become so accustomed to seeing those elite characters that we'd forgot those ships are filled with hundreds of people. It makes those large-scale engagements feel a lot more meaningful, and it also gives insight to the mind of someone working through the Starfleet system at a junior level. In June 2018, Alex Kurtzman signed a 5-year deal with CBS Studios to expand the Trek universe. This includes developing an animated series with Rick and Morty head writer Mike McMahon. The series would take after what McMahon would call his favorite episode of TNG. Today's episode of topic, Lower Decks. This series would be seen as a love letter to fans ranging from ages of 11 to 70, with adult humor but nothing along the lines of Rick and Morty. The series premise, like the famous episode, follows the support crew of one of Starfleet's least important ships in the year 2380. For Trekkies, this is the year that Nemesis is set in. The 10-episode first season is set to be released on August 6th of 2020. Please subscribe now with notification bell on to get my review of the premiere episode when it airs. Lower Decks is just a clever episode.
And Ensign, I do know why you ended up on the Enterprise. I asked for you.
In the typical Trek fashion, it takes our world and finds a way to put a Trek spin on it. Characters we have never seen before, outside of one, have motives that make them instantly relatable.
I recommended you.
I'll try not to let you down, sir.
They also have observations that make them feel more human and provide a look at Trek through a lens we haven't quite seen before.
Apparently, you two are up for the same job.
In the future, people still aren't sure about their bosses.
Riker? I bet he sleeps in his uniform.
He seemed annoyed.
Of course he was.
He didn't like the fact that you knew something he didn't.
Who wouldn't relate to that? Lower Decks is held up through the course of time thanks to sharp writing, the great character performances, and that bittersweet ending. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.